I don't know. I'm a very sociable person, but
Sure,
I don't think I'd be like confident enough to just go up to someone and be like, hey, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, you can't force the opportunity to happen, and you shouldn't force it to happen. It should just be like a natural thing, because I think people can sense when conversations are forced, just generally, not even Jesus ones. You can have friends who don't believe in Jesus, and I think talking to friends who don't believe is different talking to strangers that don't believe, because there's with friends, they know you a bit more and you know them a bit more, so you can kind of I don't know, talk about topics that might be a bit more interesting to them. But then with strangers, it's a clean slate. You don't, unless the Holy Spirit is kind of showing you things, you don't really know like where they're at on their journey. But with friends, you can kind of see where they're at. I think for me, all of my friends know what I believe, and not all of them believe the same thing, but that doesn't mean that I can't have conversations with them about that. So I remember when I had a friend that I was really close to who was Sikh, and we used to like compare our faiths, not in like a competition kind of way, but just kind of to understand each other's perspective.
Okay, yeah.
And the goal wasn't necessarily to make her believe what I believed, but I really enjoyed the fact that we could actually just understand each other a little bit better.
Be open about it.
Because, you hear labels like Christian, Muslim, Sikh, you hear all these different labels, but then I guess when you're in your own faith and your own views, you don't necessarily know what the other person's views or faith is like until you have that conversation. So I definitely think with friends, just be open to that conversation, because you talk to them about other things, like you talk to them about guys, about work, about school. So faith is another thing that you can talk to them about, which is good.
Yeah, listening and being open to hear what other people have got to say about where they're coming from, I think is so important.
And like a lot of people in our community, they message saying that they want to share their faith with their friends that aren't Christian, but they're scared of like how their friends would respond. Like how would you, do you have any tips or any encouragement for that?
You're not alone in feeling nervous or scared about what your friends will think of you. You wouldn't go down in their estimations when they find out that you're a Christian.
They say that they're scared to share their faith with strangers because they feel like they're not equipped, or they don't know what to say, or don't have enough to say. And that was one of the stats. In the UK, 52% of people think that someone else is better suited to share their faith.
Right.
Which I think is crazy.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
We see these big, these pastors who are just so cool and know exactly what to say. They've been to theology college, or they've been to Bible college, whatever it is, and they just know their Bible inside out. And you just think, I could never be like, I'm just not good enough compared to that person. But I don't think it's about that. Like, what do you think? What
you said really reminded me of when I was a kid in church. And I remember we had this group of people called the evangelism team.
Okay,
and
right.
I was like, they're specifically chosen out of everyone in the church to share their faith, so they must be the only ones that can do it.
Right.
And I remember being like, I wish I could share my faith, but I wasn't chosen to be part of this team. So maybe it's not for me to do, but we can do it. You're right. Everyone has the ability to be able to talk to someone about the good news. I think some people are better at doing it a certain way than others, but everyone has a unique way that they can share their faith effectively. So I don't know what your specific way is, but I love sharing my faith through music. And just going to like pubs and bars and stuff and just singing secular songs, but the good news version of those songs.
So I think
change the lyrics.
cool.
And I always love it because people get so caught off guard when they think it's going to be the
Right.
secular version, but actually no,
Yeah.
this is the Jesus version.
Yeah.
So I do love sharing my faith that way, but not everyone would do it that way,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I know some people that are great at just approaching strangers on the street.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I'm a very sociable person, but
Sure,
I don't think
yeah.
I'd be like confident enough to just go up to someone and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Jesus."
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
I think everyone can do it in different ways.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think people should start embracing that they can do it in different ways and think of all the unique and creative ways that they can share their faith without putting themselves in a box.
It's really interesting you say about music. I was chatting to someone, part of our yesHEis community online the other day, who was just talking in the comments, and she was saying that she shares her faith through music. She has a Spotify like playlist. That's the one. Yeah, playlist. She's got a Spotify playlist of exactly that. Of well, I don't know if it's like actual well-known secular songs done in a Christian way, but Christian praise songs. But in all sorts of different genres, like from rap to she said Gregorian chant, like just, it's crazy. But you know,
so cool.
literally something for everyone.
Yeah.
So she's got something. Oh, you like rap? Right, here's this song. Check this out.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's a simple way. Like she barely even needs to speak then. Oh, just check this song out. You know, what do you think? Oh, did you listen to the lyrics? Whatever it is. And so I think you're right. Like finding your thing, whatever your thing is, whether it's music or whether it's going up to someone in the street, maybe it's through sport or whatever it is. Finding your interest and common interest with someone, and using that to share your faith is so powerful. Here's an interesting stat. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
So 42% of Christians think that they don't know enough people who don't know Jesus to be able to share their faith with.
42%.
Yeah, it's quite a lot, isn't it?
That is quite a lot.
Do you feel like you know enough people who don't know Jesus to share your faith with?
I feel like, sometimes it's hard because I haven't put myself in those spaces.
Right.
But then it just goes back to what I was saying about Jesus meeting people where they're at. If we don't know enough non-Christians, then that maybe we need to put ourselves in places where we can know more non-Christians. It's very easy to get comfortable in what we know and what we're used to.
Yeah, right.
So one of my challenges is actually to kind of like step out into more spaces where I get to meet non-Christians.
Yeah.
So I went roller skating yesterday.
Roller skating?
I did.
Cool, no way.
It was so good.
So how many times did you fall over?
I didn't.
You didn't?
Because I'm actually
Wow.
good. Yeah.
Oh, you're actually
I'm not
good.
amazing,
What a
but
surprise.
okay, that's hurtful. That's so hurtful. No, but so I went there with a friend.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I wasn't thinking about sharing Jesus specifically, but it was nice to be with so many people that didn't know Jesus. But then I realised the music's very loud, so I can't actually talk about Jesus here. Sure. So I think as well as putting ourselves in those spaces, you've got to be intentional with it. It's not gonna. I feel like you can't force the opportunity to happen, and you shouldn't force it to happen. It should just be like a natural thing. Because I think people can sense when conversations are forced, just generally, not even Jesus ones.
I think you're right. Like we do sometimes live in a Christian bubble, don't we? Like whether it's church or work or whatever it is, if you work in a Christian workplace. But not to take away from those things, those communities church is so important, having Christians around you.
And you know what, it's so cool because I remember when I did for one of my songs a remix, so I changed the words to the good news message. Someone who wasn't a Christian said, "Oh, I only sing your version now."
Really?
And I was
no
like,
way.
"That is."
Wow.
It really warmed my heart because it's obviously that wasn't my intention, but the fact that a non-Christian is singing a Christian song or a Christian message, I just thought that was so cool.
So can I share with you a story that we had sent in from someone in our yesHEis community? Yeah. Yeah, is that all right? So this is a girl who said she was wearing one of those bracelets with the 4 points. She was wearing one of them. I think she's at college. And a girl in her class saw it. She explained it to her, told her that it was to do with her faith, but the girl had already seen one before, and she was born into a Muslim family, she said. but she'd always wanted to discover something else. So she said that she'd been to church before, she liked it, and she'd seen the bracelet there. And the girl from our community said she can't really remember what she said after, but that she could ask questions if she wanted, and she'd be happy to chat more about it, which I thought was really cool.
That is very cool. All that from a bracelet.
Well, just a bracelet, yeah.
Wow.
So simple, isn't it?
So yeah, I have a story from the yesHEis community.
Yeah, cool.
So someone said, I had prayed to God to give me an opportunity to share my faith with my friends because I love them very much. A few days later, when we were out having a nice evening together, we ended the evening in a bar. We sat down at a table and had a very nice and deep conversations. After some time and some very good conversations, I suddenly had the impulse deep inside me to throw the question into the room, what is the meaning of life for you? Wow. I know, deep. Yeah. For me, it was as if I could hardly resist it, as if the Holy Spirit said, now is the moment. And through this question, we finally ended up with God.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, just like through conversation and it came to God. Wow.
And I love that they prayed before.
Yeah.
I think it's so easy to just do things and just share our faith. But when we pray about it as well, I think it just makes it the process so much smoother. There has to be, not there has to be, but there's something bigger than us.
Everyone surely has an opinion on the meaning of life, whether it comes from a Christian point of view or not.
That's true.
Like everyone must have thought, how did we get here?
Yeah. That's so true. So another story from someone in our community. Okay. My friend and I prayed about 4 months ago for his seriously ill, stage 4 cancer friend who did not believe in God. Okay. 1 month ago, we got the news that he was healed.
No way.
I
really?
know.
Wow.
This is so crazy.
Goodness.
He was healed by the power of Jesus, and that moved him to go to a church. And then they put, God is great.
Wow.
How cool.
Wow. God is great. That is amazing. I've got one for you. So this was someone in our yesHEis community who said, the last time I shared my faith was yesterday with my nephew. He seems to be listening and interested, but he's not born again yet. So he's not a Christian yet. He doesn't know Jesus yet. This person, I gave my life to God this year. So quite a new Christian themselves. I was baptized in June, and most of my friends don't believe in Jesus. Mm-hmm. I share my faith when I have the opportunity, but it's not easy. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. Like I liked this story just because it's a new Christian, but there's still opportunities to share your faith, and still that calling to share your faith, even though they've only been a Christian since this year, only just been baptized in June.
And then that kind of shows people that you don't need to know everything to share your faith. I think the fact that they said they were baptized in June, that's pretty recent. And the fact that they're so passionate of sharing their faith with everyone, their friends and family, and maybe even strangers. And that's really cool. That's really inspiring.